Well, ladies and gents, Novak Djokovic has been banned from the United States. Is that fair? Is it reasonable? Let's have a look, shall we? If you've been living under a rock and you haven't already heard, Novak Djokovic, the extremely wealthy, extremely talented tennis player, has been banned from the United States because, well, reasons apparently. According to The Hill, he's arguably the world's greatest tennis player and belongs squarely in the greatest of all time conversation. But they won't be seeing him at the US Open because of the federal government's rule against allowing unvaccinated non-US citizens into the US. Sadly, I'll not be able to travel for the US Open. Is that fair? Does it sound fair? Does it sound reasonable? Only if you've got a head full of dog shit does it sound fair and reasonable. Do you know why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the US Customs and Border Protection Agency, the CBP, has released their June 2022 monthly operational update. And for the month of June, and these are the numbers we know about, these are the ones they're actually telling us about, so if you think they're accurate, give your head a shake. It's probably twice that number. But there were 207,416 encounters along the southwest land border in June. More than 2/3 of them were single adults, i.e. fighting age men, and we have absolutely no idea where they come from, but they're certainly not all from Mexico. They're waifs and strays from across the third world. So 207,000 people can come in, and where do you think they're going? Do you think they're going in a tent, a gigantic, sweaty tent in the middle of the desert, or are they getting housed and clothed and fed at your expense, Mr. American taxpayer? Answers on a postcard. And of course, Miss St. Pierre's weighed in. Yes, the human plank that's now inhabiting the press secretary's office in the White House. She's obviously weighed in and said, that's a false equivalency. Merely hundreds of thousands of fighting age men entering at the southern border, that's not a big deal. But one single bloke who pays his way, spends a lot of money, and brings a lot of entertainment to tens of millions of American tennis fans, he's a refusenik. He shouldn't be allowed in. He's a clear and present danger to us all. Yeah, you're expected to buy that. One man with an impeccable health record who's already had the bloody virus and has recently recovered from it, and therefore using the much vaunted science that the little poison dwarf head like a wrinkled foreskin Fauci likes to keep talking about. The science. Well, according to the science, if you've just had it, you are in tip-top tickety-boo shape. You're as well situated as anybody to prevent the spread of the virus because your immune system's done its job, the job that it's supposed to have been doing since humanity first crawled from the oceans and destroyed the virus that entered your system. Happy days. Or not. Obviously, the White House sidestepped a question about why it continues to let untested and unvaccinated illegal immigrants into the United States in droves. But poor old Novak's not allowed in. Miss Jean-Pierre said, "We can't discuss the details of individual visa cases that everybody in the whole world knows about." The absolute state of her. Not only has she got the IQ of a pork pie, she's even got bad dress sense. Who wears a neon day-glow orange dress when they go on TV? Just put a Kappa shell suit on. Good old Peter Ducey said, somebody unvaccinated comes over on a plane, paid the way, and they're going to spend all the money while they're here. They're not allowed. Somebody walks into Texas or Arizona unvaccinated and they're allowed to stay. That's not how it works. It's not like someone walks over, she replied. What do you think they do? Levitate. That's exactly what they do. They walk over. Have you not seen the news? House brick in a day-glow dress. You haven't seen the news? And there's a picture of some people walking over. What are they skateboarding? They on rollerblades, you dippy bint? We all know what this is about, don't we? Ultimately, we all know what this is really about. And this is really about making an example of a reasonable, decent human being who appears to be putting his principles in front of the accumulation of wealth. He could make a lot of money if he went to the US Open. It's not like he's not going to come in the top 6, is he? He could make plenty of cash if he just shut up, got the jab and entered the US. But he's not going to because he's got something called principles, which nobody in the political sphere has. None of them. Certainly not Bungalow Biden, the piss-sodden senile moral vacuum cleaner in the White House. And certainly nobody in his administration either. Also, just to put a cherry on top of this dog shit Sunday, we now know that you and I, dear listener, have been right all along, haven't we? Whoops, what's all this then? Our lockdown effects killing more people than COVID? Well, the excess death data certainly seems to show that to be the case, doesn't it? The Office for National Statistics released excess death data this week showing that around 1,000 more people a week are dying from conditions other than the virus. Something that I said many years ago. I'm not going to bore you by being smug and going back through my videos, but you can find it on about 50 occasions. Because it's common sense that if you lock tens of millions of people in the house all day long, addiction and alcoholism and depression and suicidal ideation and spousal abuse and heart attacks and diabetes and everything else skyrockets, because it's not a zero-sum game. There was no cost to benefit analysis, no basic risk assessment done, and the skeptics have been proved 100% right. Worst of all, this big, fat, barren, greenback looking sweaty went as far as to call everyone vaccine refuseniks and said it's time to punish them. Punish them! Yeah! Come on then, fat man, come round. I want to see you try, fatty. You've got more chins than the Chinese phone book. Come and have a go if you think you are hard enough. Do I need to say anything else? Do I need to say anything else? You were right, dear viewer, because if you've got two brain cells to rub together, you've been listening to people like me for the last 2.5 years. We were right, they were wrong, and it's time to say, suck it. Suck it. Novak Djokovic is being made an example of because he is a man of principle. And every time someone that has no principles at all stares at him, they are left wanting. They are reminded of all that they are not. The authoritarian fascists that run the world now are lower than a snake's belly. They are not your betters, and you should never ever allow these people to talk down to you. Well done, Novak. Well done, son. You stick at it. He makes me proud. He's almost as stubborn as a bootneck, and I would rather rip my heart out of my own chest and eat it than give a single inch to these worms. Let me know what you think. Have you had anyone close to you that struggled because of the last 2.5 years being locked in a cupboard whilst Ellen DeGenerate is in a 20-bedroom mansion with a tennis court and a swimming pool, waxing lyrical about how great lockdowns are and how they should extend them all? I mean, it really does beg a belief, the lack of self-awareness by these people. Wherever you are, however big your abode is, get out of it. Go outside and enjoy your life. Don't allow these people to take another precious second of your existence away from you, doing as you're told. They don't like you, they hate you, everything they do is to your detriment. Ignore them. They lie, they cheat, they steal. The last 2.5 years has proved it. It's time to stop playing the game. Thanks for watching, everyone. I will see you all for a live stream tomorrow. Toodle pip. Cheers.